It's July 3rd, 2025. We'll call the law enforcement committee meeting to order. It's 4:30. Everybody have a copy of the agenda? Okay, we are open for business. We've already taken roll. Everybody signed the sign-in sheet. I wrote y'all's name on there, so. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any public comments? Think we have anybody from the public here. We do have a special guest here today, Benton Brown. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from our last meeting? If so, I need a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. I don't think we have any unfinished business that I know of. You all have any unfinished business?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
We'll move on to the new business, the sheriff's report.
All right.
Thank you. Well, happy holiday to you tomorrow and this weekend. Want to say on behalf of all the employees at the Sheriff's Department, to you commissioners, thank you for the diligent work that y'all did during the budget process. I know it was some very tough decisions for y'all to make, and I met with all the post-certifieds at 7 o'clock this morning, and we went over several things, and a lot of happy faces, and that was a monumental thing that y'all did. And I've promised the mayor, just as I will promise y'all, that we will strive and work very hard, even harder than where we're at, to be a good steward. And the concessions that had to be made to compensate those deputies, I know was not easy, but we will diligently try to make that up somewhere. And we've been looking at other possible things that we can do that might generate some things to help the general fund down the road, and maybe some things out of the jail that will compromise with inmates, but yet help pay for some stuff. Wanted to report to you, this is more of a capital outlay, but it's under my purview, but our motor pool building down behind the Justice Center. If you get a chance to drive by, it's beautiful. The Holmes family just got done 2 weeks ago finishing up the paint job on the building. That building was built in '82, and it has never had a coat of paint put on it.
Wow.
And it was all gone down to the metal, but it's turned out really well, and it's just given new life to the building. Last year we redone the roof on it, and I'm hoping this year I can finagle around and with our inmates and whatnot, but I may work on the bathrooms and just stuff like that, updating it. But we use that building every day, and very much appreciated on that. Of course, we're going into the new budget, and we got a few kitchen things that we're going to do. We had to buy a new mixer at the jail. We've been using a makeshift situation so this commercial kitchen stuff's not cheap, but think we've got that worked out. But it's a pretty expensive item that we need to get in there. But working on that. Down to the sad business, and I'll just go ahead and y'all know me. I'll just get right to it. Last week, TCI, Tennessee Corrections Institute, showed up, and we had a population of 401, and we did not get that little certificate that goes on the wall. And I think they said they'd be back in 60 or 90 days. it's not looking very promising that we'll get recertified. We were perfect in every aspect other than our population. We records, logs, drills, cleanliness, kitchen. They was just overwhelmed. It's, you know, bragged on our jail. Problem is we're over capacity. Not that anybody's hurting or anything like that, but today we're down to 398. But the problem is I've got 70 state sentenced inmates.
That's a lot.
Are they waiting on bed?
Just waiting on state of Tennessee. So everybody thinks that we call and say we're bringing it, and it doesn't work that way. They call you and say we're coming to get such and such, and most of the ones that they come get are sentenced over to 6 years. If you're 6 years and less, you end up staying in county jail. Or if you're split confinement, which we don't have as many split confinements anymore, but I got to let you know that's where we're at. We've worked really hard. Jail administrator, Lieutenant Warren, her staff have worked for my time as sheriff, and we've had good numbers. But it's caught up with us. So, you know, they may, you know, Tammy's working diligently to get inmates out, shuffled around. Last year we were over on women, and I told the state what was going to happen. They was going to come back in 30 days. I said, well, them 15 women won't be here that day. They went down to Moore County. So, I mean, it's pretty known. I mean, they crucify me or whatever, but I told the main director what I was going to do, and he just laughed. After they did the count, they'd come back, and I booked them back in. That's, you know, we went on a tour for a day. I can't do that with this many.
How
So,
many what's your top total
well, the day they came,
supposed to be?
well,
400?
400. But, Mr. Miller, way we have to classify. So if you'll look at this this sheet here with this graph on it, that's got the sales on it. So let's go to the third line where it says AB. There's 66 there, and those are medium security men. And then you go down to the bottom to BB and BC, where it says 61 and 62. And to the left, all those pods are 50 beds. So that shows you where we're over, and then shows you where we're under. The AA is actually our work crew. So we're at 41 in there. AB is medium security men. We're at 66. And then you go to AC, that is women. So I've got AC and AD with females in it that are split up. And that's what got us in trouble last time. I can combine them, and we're still going to be over. And we have a lot more peace and quiet if we keep the women happy. The men are making it, which the women were making it fine too. But last time we were 15 over.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You go to BA. Now that's over in that B section is the maximum and super maximum security inmates. And
Most of those are already sentenced. Just
most of those are sentenced, but they can't mix and mingle with the A side. We have to be very careful with that. Mm-hmm. So that puts us in a bind. I just want to give you a little education on that. And we try to keep those numbers down. And we've dealt with this for many, many years. We've just kind of been spoiled here in the last 6 or 7 on our population, but it's growing, and it's going to continue to grow. Now, if we have something miraculous happen, and Miss Tammy gets 20 of these folks moved out of there, we'll be fine. But we don't, they're going to pop in 60 to 90 days. We don't know. So if they do that, we will have failed the jail inspection, not for a draconian institution like some people classify it, but because strictly overpopulation. They will probably put us under a plan of action. It's nothing to be scared about. You know, it just says, hey, y'all need to make, what are you going to do to mitigate this? And what we're going to do to mitigate it, in my theory, is just keep pushing to get these state inmates out, and we'll get back to normal. Because I'm not coming at you to add on to the jail and all
I
that
was
stuff.
fixing to ask that question.
No, if we do anything, Mr. Brown, we'll look at down the road about adding doing a workhouse out beside there in that grassy area on the other side of the Sally Port.
Yeah.
Because you can go out there and take those work crews and put them out there,
In the
super
workhouse.
super minimum security, and weekenders can be housed out there, and you can build that a whole lot cheaper than you can 200 more pod beds. But
Because that's a whole other pod, that's 50 per.
that right, and the back corner of that jail is already laid out for that. But you're talking millions and millions, whereas a workhouse is a few million. But we're not to that. I have to let y'all know, and it has to go on the record of where we're at. I'm not panicking. Y'all know when I go into panic mode.
What's your daily average on inmates?
Right now, it's in the high 300s.
About 390?
Yeah. So we had been in the 350 to 360, 370 mode, but they go through a wave in court, and here they come. And then on the weekend you go up. But like weekenders, I can put them down there in the other cells with the work crew and stuff. So, but it's these serious felons that are messing us up. And like I said, if we could keep the buses going, at one time I got it down to 20 state inmates. In times past, when I took office, we were housing 90 to 100. They were taking up a fourth of the jail, and I worked on that. Well, now everybody's working on that.
I think at one time when I was in the jail, most of the A side, or correction, BA and BC were all state inmates waiting
Yeah.
on a bed. So
Yep.
it's 100.
So
you
they've
have to keep those 70 till they decide they
Yeah.
want them. You don't have a
yeah.
choice.
Or if I find another jail that
wants 'em.
that wants them, and some of them do, but we're working on that. I'll give you an example. Shelby County is our largest county, right? Has 2,600 beds. All right. There's 20. They got 20. It's super full. 2,600 inmates. They've got 130 state inmates.
Wow.
I've got 400 beds with 70 state inmates. So it's kind of
Yeah.
weird. But they're really close to several state facilities out west Tennessee. But that's just where we're at, and that's the important thing that y'all need to know. So if TCI shows up here and addresses y'all, or addresses the county commission, they may want to reactivate the jail committee, like they did years before. We're not to that. I mean, we're going to diligently push to farm them out and get back down. I really like it when they're in the 370 to 360 markets. It makes everything manageable. But as you get overcrowding, then tempers flare, assaults happen, and, makes this cost go up and that kind of thing. But that we're growing, and yeah, so that's where we're at with that. Just trying to think what else. I will go on and tell you this: we're looking at purchasing two motorcycles for traffic duty. We're pricing those out. I've just had a tremendous amount of complaints and calls, messages, face-to-face contact with people about county road speeds, and I think I've gave folks a lot of notice. We're one of the few counties in the state that don't do quote-unquote radar traffic.
Will that be their primary job, is
as needed. I mean, and you know, I'm going to look at 2. We're going to ease into it, but they will work these county roads.
Good.
I'm getting a lot of complaints, like 16th Model, Fredonia, Maple Springs, Ragsdale, Perry Plains,
I get a lot of complaints in my district.
Yeah.
From,
and we're, you know, and you know, trying to work with the highway patrol. You know, we're answering probably 10,000 calls a year to the interstate.
mhm.
It's killing us, and so I can buy 2 motorcycles cheaper than I can buy 1 patrol car. Plus, trying to work radar on the county roads with a car is hard to do because, you know, it's different out on a 4-lane. You got plenty of turnaround time, but on the county roads, it's kind of difficult on moving radar. But the motorcycles are designed to, you know, they can turn around on a dime and do it. I don't want to be a traffic cop. I just deputies are, you know, we've never been designed or cut out to be ticket riders. But where we're at in the county with people, the hurry up and go society, and a lot of it is people traveling through our county going to the base, to Nissan, to Bridgestone, cutting through from the other counties like Asbury Road and Ragsdale Road, coming from out of Grundy County trying to get to the base. Or I mean, I'm just getting a lot of calls, and it's crazy speeds, like in the 80s.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
yeah, it's dangerous. We're getting a lot more commercial truck traffic on our county roads because of Waze and Google Maps and this and that. You know, I-24 stays at a quagmire. Seems like from the 105 to Murfreesboro, both directions every day. So you're getting a lot of electronic devices that are taking people different routes, and we're going to have to react on it, or we're going to start having an uptick in fatalities. But I just, you know, I know it won't go over very well, but we're in the process of bidding this out, and I've got some guys that are very capable of handling that.
They'll have radar.
Yes, they
Of
will.
course.
Yeah.
I think the public will be happy to
They'll
hear that.
they'll have radar, plus they can help us with 1014s. We're going to continue. You know, a lot of cities have started backing out of doing the funerals. As long as I'm sheriff, we're going to continue to provide that service. It's one of the few things that we can give back to our citizens and their loved ones, is paying that time of respect. Benton and his crew at Manchester do a phenomenal job, and I get more compliments about that up and over our uniforms. But yeah, we want to continue providing that service as long as we're able to, and this will help with that. They're not going to be full-time, of course, but as we ease into it and our department grows, then I may be able to create a 2-man full-time traffic division that can help with wrecks, and it'll be more traffic oriented. But you know, once this thing gets going and people start seeing, hey, they're not playing around, it'll help us in some peak times on the interstate. And particularly, I don't want to forget, the most important thing is our school zones. All of our school zones are on state right-of-ways but one, and that's Hickerson Station. Every one of them's on state right-of-ways. The one out at New Union is just, it's terrible every day. And it's a lot of people coming in out of Woodbury, or people getting off the interstate and going that direction that are not familiar with it. I'm hoping the school system will work on some more lighting for East Coffee. Those old dangly swinging lights are exactly due east and due west, and they collide with the sun. And if you're not from here, you don't realize you're in the middle of a school zone because you can't see them. The sun blinds it. So if they'll put the poles up and that kind of thing. But like I said, I don't want to turn into, you know, as an elected official, sheriff's writing tickets is not ever good. That's the point of the matter. But we got to do what we got to do for safety, and that's just another one of those things that I've got to suck up and deal with. We're at that point, and about every county around us been doing it for years. And we've got funds that we're going to use that we won't have to come to y'all for on that, and can make that happen. And we're going to see how that goes. I was amazed at just a stripped down bike. It's about a little over 18,000. So I get 2 bikes, completely outfit them, deck them out, uniforms, helmets, and all that for still less than a patrol car. And
Harleys.
yeah, Harleys, gliders, I think. So it'd be the same as highway patrol. And it will be good PR for the county too, for representation of funerals and you know, activities, and it's something that we can blend in with the schools and, you know, let the kids check them out. And I don't ride a bike. Hadn't rode a bike in years, but I think they're cool too. And there's something, you know, during Bonnaroo when the THP motors get here, you know it. And
Everybody's turning their head looking.
yeah, and they're wonderful working traffic. And but I want these bikes to be able to pay for themselves, and they will. And but the main thing is the safety and the speed issue that we're having out in the county. Ms. Jennifer,
Perception of them being out there would slow people
yeah,
down.
yeah. You think of anything else? Well, we've if you've noticed, so we've done some promotions and changing the rank. We had done that prior to the budget passing, but it goes me, Chief Watkins, now Major Brad Roberts, third in command. We've brought Captain Butler out of investigations, and he's over on our side of the house now. Hopefully he'll mold into it. He's a little uncomfortable and a little shaky right now because close to 40 years, he's never, just a short time he was an SRO, he's always been a detective or a patrolman, but he'll mold into it. But he's the department's administrative captain. Brandon Reed has come back to us. Excuse me. He will be chief investigator over all investigations for general investigations, and also over our narcotics investigators. And we've got that up and running. Our good friend Jerome Dillard, he's the steady rock at the courthouse, and promoted him to sergeant. He's over daily handling of stuff. Lieutenant Mullins is still what I call the north side command over the building and motor pool. But as far as handling inside that courthouse, Jerome Dillard will be taking that. So we're really excited for those changes, and just moving along. And our half of our SROs went to state SRO conference. We kind of split that up half and half. So half stay here to work Bonnaroo, another half go to conference, and then next year the other group will go. We don't send them all out at once, but that's about all I got to report. Other than that, y'all pretty much know my situation as an open book. I'll answer any questions you might have.
How are your air conditioners?
Well, they're still working on that with county maintenance. I don't know that we've heard back. I know Mr. Hirschman, Commissioner Hirschman, is well tied into that. This morning it was quite warm there at that meeting, but up on our end we shall survive. But I know they're working on the parts and trying to get all that in to maybe keep us from having to do the 3 replacement. Dennis and I, Mayor Hunt and I, got together and with Terry and some others, and I asked for a reevaluation of that situation, and that's the reason when capital outlay and budget and finance, we just budgeted for 1 potential replacement, but they were going to replace 3. And I got some folks within Lee Company that I knew very well. Said, I need you to go back and relook at this. And they come back with a parts list and said, hey, we can get you a lot more time. I said, I want to squeeze that sponge as tight as I can, save us several $100,000.
That's good.
And so they're working on doing those parts. But I said, I need to know that when we go from a 100-degree day, and it'll just be a short time now, January and February hit, and we'll go into those winter storms and cold days, because the heat exchangers had been out, is messed up in them. But they felt like maybe $20,000 of repairs and parts, and maybe up to 50. I said, well, that's a lot cheaper than 350. It's a lot cheaper than you know, $150,000 apiece. So we're going to make an attempt at that, Dwight, and we're going to continue to squeeze and piecemeal on that.
I got another question. It's probably odd. Of course, I get some questions from Tullahoma saying, why do we have to pay that much in taxes? We don't see from Tullahoma's side why we're having to pay that much in the county. And of course, I've mentioned, well, running a jail
There,
is a big item and all that.
Yeah.
How many, you probably don't even know, have the figure, but how many people from Tullahoma end up in this jail?
they're our largest populace. Populace in the jail is from the populace of Tullahoma. The second one's Manchester, and third's the county. And I will go on and say to my good friends and neighbors of Tullahoma, you're more than welcome to open up your city jail back and take your inmates. I will be delighted for them to do that. And they had a city jail there until '86, and they housed, you know, DUIs, public intoxications, and whatnot. Most of them got transferred up to the jail. But Dwight, this is the same question in every county in the United States. Now, there is a few municipalities left in the country that still have their own jail, but very few. Smyrna and Laverne, either Smyrna or Laverne have a temporary holding facility, but if they don't make bond, or if it's on a traffic offense or something, they get transferred to county jail. But you know, if we want to get into the debate of
No, I don't think they want it.
no, well, I know,
I
but,
just didn't know what
but
to
it-
answer when
it
people
is
ask questions.
as a novice citizen looks, and when they're really looking at their taxes, and they're like, well, we don't. What county services do we get? Well, you get a lot. You know, the county holds the courts, the county holds the inmates, the county does the EMS, the county serves the warrants, and you know,
Of course, you got county roads, but most people in
Right.
Tullahoma say, I don't usually use county roads, but
well, but
it'd be nice, I
but-
think, if we could make a list.
but
Like we're
it is,
talking about.
but it goes where the way I would look at this, if I was county mayor and I had a citizen hit me up about that. You go back to whenever the city of Tullahoma chartered to be a municipality, they signed off as a municipality within our county that they could take care of this. This is the contract. This is the deal. And Tullahoma offices are not constitutional. We are. And if Tullahoma folds in services, we automatically have to take it over as the sheriff. If the police department folds, we have to cover it. And that's happened in many little, you know, like in Franklin County, you know, we've seen Huntland open and close. We've seen Cowan open and close, and Estill, and
There's been many times.
and we run into this statewide. All the little towns, they open and close, and the sheriff's office automatically has to go. And in some of those counties, Mr. Miller, the little municipalities contract with the sheriff's office. They take what little tax money they got and pay it extra to the sheriff to help give a little extra coverage to their little town. But I know I've gotten that for years in a debate from some folks from Manchester and Tullahoma, and you know, what do we get out of the county? You know,
Especially when you pay more in county taxes than you do the
Right.
city of Tullahoma.
yeah,
Of
and
course, now that might have changed.
well, and that's just been in the last, you know, 15 or 20 years, and though, you know, it's just like the police departments up until Tuesday of this week had for 25 years have paid extremely more and more. But I remember when Stubblefield can tell you in 1980 he left the city of Tullahoma Police Department to come to the county because it paid $100 more a month. Well, then then Tullahoma went to paying more, and he went back. It was over $100.
People follow the money.
And we went all these years, and it fell behind, and it fell behind, and it fell behind, and I have told both police chiefs and all mayors, if you think what y'all did for us is a threat, it's not. Because if y'all go in, and nothing against Benton and his people, and nothing against,
They're going to turn right around.
if they go up, all you're doing is self-inflating
Yeah.
the rest of us. We've got to level this playing field and level it out. if somebody's wanting to go somewhere, then they need to seek out Murfreesboro. They need to seek out the Highway Patrol or somewhere else like that. But you're going to get it to a point that you're not going to be able to sustain it.
Right.
And we're doing the same job of keeping the peace, except I've got a jail and the courts and the warrants. But if you go up and go up and go up, they should not be threatened by us. We're not above any of the Manchester, Tullahoma. We're just in the game. We're back in the game to where we were back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, the sheriff's department was the go-to employment.
I don't think anybody that I've heard or knew of had any problem about the pay,
Well, and I appreciate. I'm
what they
just,
were getting.
Just
Yeah.
the ideas that was trying to get.
well, and that was brave of you for what you did. Because it is hard. I can't imagine the position you're in. It's a thankless job. I don't want to pay more taxes living in the city of Manchester and living in the county, but I also know at the end of the day that we had folks that are struggling hard.
So this has helped your people.
Oh yes.
I mean,
You-
you know how
we-
rumors
we-
go. I
we-
just want to know if your
Yes.
openings are getting filled and everybody is
Yeah,
in
we're
better
gonna-
shape.
We're going to be fine. And there's still folks that have dreams of doing other stuff.
Sure.
I
And
mean,
they always will.
I have a couple that is really interested in the highway patrol. One's for the insurance and because of a situation. And the other one is really interested in accident stuff. And and it's not because of the pay here or but a conflict with me or whatever. I mean, most times somebody leaves now, it's because they don't like me.
Wow.
And that's going to happen. And sometimes there's those that I want to see gone.
I understand.
Okay, so the feelings can be mutual, and that's in any job place. It's just that I'm a public. I'm as you know, the last couple of weeks I've been very public, more public than I want to be, but I signed up for it. I'm here. I got to do what I got to do. But yeah, I really get. Here our probation. Tullahoma, City of Tullahoma doesn't have, or City of Manchester doesn't have a probation department. They don't have the trustee's office. They don't have a registered deeds office. They don't run a courthouse. I mean, where are we at with the senior citizens? I mean, we've got two of everything. The county's taking care of the libraries. We've got two of them.
Yep.
We're finally possibly getting to a
Department.
consolidated health department. And I agree, there is a whole lot of services that we could consolidate. We got 3 school systems. Look at where we get on the county level having to ADA money if we don't watch what we're doing. And so
Just a lot of people
yeah.
don't think about what else is
it's
involved
because-
because it doesn't affect them.
Well, and because they don't
They don't
see
go
it.
to the jail. They don't go to the courts.
And I hope they don't have to.
And probation and all
Right.
that, the majority of them. So
Most of the time.
they don't think about
Right.
any of this stuff.
That's right.
Most of the time, and it's nothing against the sheriff's department because this is the way it should be. You don't see county guys in Tullahoma.
Well, they're there. We're down there. There's somebody down there right now. We're down there serving their civil process every day, all day long.
Right.
But I'm not going to. Our narcotics work is down there
All the time.
99.9% of the time. We're taking care of the narcotics and drug problem every which way we can down there. That's county.
And you shouldn't see them.
And you're not going to see them. It's just we work in mysterious ways. But I got a call the other day, possible standby. Tullahoma City's got some folks, and right now they're working through it. But they know we will send deputies down there to work and answer calls because they've had vacations and folks and sick and school and an academy and Manchester don't, because we're here, we're in the middle of Manchester, we're running through there every day. The way Tullahoma is set up geographically, they're just kind of off the beaten path. You could ask the same question about Franklin County because there's quite a bit of little edge of Tullahoma in Franklin County, and actually you got a brand new school in Franklin County.
I see a number of Franklin County Sheriff's Department coming through Tullahoma,
Yeah.
and I'm going, where are they going?
Yeah, they're coming off Turkey Creek and coming back around and going back towards Estill. They make that round, but
There are several Franklin County guys that live in
that live in
Yes.
yeah in Tullahoma. But to, you know, for that gets put to you, I had a former Manchester mayor that laid in on me one time about, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then once I started laying it out, and I said, are y'all willing to take those services over? I'm sure the county would, you know, love for y'all to do that and open up a jail. And we'd love for you to have a city jail and take folks. I would like to see a city of Tullahoma reactivate their general sessions court.
And no telling them I had a general sessions.
Oh, yeah.
I know they did for years.
Yeah, we used to have to go down there every Tuesday, and so
I guess I didn't know they had stopped it.
I don't think some of them want to get into that debate really deep.
I think they're just asking questions.
Yeah,
And I had one or two
Yeah.
aldermen asking me those kind of questions
Well,
because
yeah.
they're having to deal with the tax side
they're
of it.
they're having to they're having to do that. But when we really break this thing down and we start weighing it out, I mean, I've had questions about the city of Tullahoma potentially doing their own medical response, and I'm like, I'm all for it. But when they started pricing it out, how the millions are the cost to get ambulance, I mean, Tullahoma Fire has done a phenomenal job as a first responder medics down there, and they have saved a lot of lives, and they could join that up. But ambulances are expensive, and having that second station down there, we went years and we only had one station on the south end, and finally in the recent years we got one put out on the north end, and that has saved tremendous. But as we grow, there's pains that come with it, and I kind of start twitching when I hear the municipality folks say, hey, y'all are the ones that decided to form a city inside the boundaries of the county. Just like the folks in 1836 got together and formed Coffee County from Warren, Bedford, and Franklin counties. And technically where we're sitting at right now was a part of Bedford County. Hillsborough was part of Franklin County, and everything kind of east of 41 and 55 in the Duck River was part of Warren County. So we all evolved from somewhere, and a state was created from a territory. And when we decided to charter a state, we agreed that we were going to do this. So,
Well, I said it wouldn't be a bad idea for the aldermen, and but half of them or more are new, and the county commission to have a little work session.
that's
and
I
talk.
agree. Or come see us, and we'll show
That's
you
what I
we'll
said.
show you what you're
I
getting
said,
for your
we'll
buck.
be glad to talk.
And if anybody wants to take any of them home with them, we might work that out. But it is a great question. I get hit with that a lot, and it is hard for people to comprehend because they don't see it. But
No,
we're-
you don't see people getting
it's something
arrested.
right,
You don't know where they're coming
right,
from.
and
And that's why I asked the question, and
yeah.
I don't have a
question.
clue how many people from Tullahoma
Well, just
are
tell
in the county
tell
jail.
your constituents we appreciate them paying their taxes because that goes towards the food and the medical and the housing of their well endowed inmates.
Well, basically what I mostly told them was, you're gonna pay it one way or the other, one side or the other. So you're gonna
You know,
be paying it regardless.
I know this ain't the time or place, and I know there's been some things tossed out about metro government. And I'm not saying a potential metro government is not a bad idea, but I will tell you this. You're still going to have the same number of people, the same number of services. You might save a little bit of administrative costs, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have the same number of teachers, same number of school buildings,
Same number of cops.
same number of cops. I've thought many times, boy, if we did have a metro chartered government, which side of the house, I was like, maybe if I just ran the jail out here, it would be all right. But then I get to watching Darren Hall, and he just got done building a brand new jail downtown. He failed his jail inspection last week, and
Really?
he's already meeting with Metro, who just
Wow.
went through another 30-cent tax hike, and they're going to have to go out there at Harding Place and probably build another jail because
Yeah, they fill it up as fast as they can get. them up.
yeah, I mean it's crazy. But we're going to try to keep struggling here and tightening down, and I'm willing to answer any question, and any of those aldermen or any, for that matter, any of those constituents that they want to come, I'd be honored to take them through the jail, introduce them to our investigators, our deputies, our court officers, our SROs, and anything related, our motor pool. Most people, Madam Chairman, when they come, they're a lot of them now. If we take them down a motor pool, they're most impressed with that, of how we
Most people probably don't even.
of
know
how
have
we
that.
how we accumulated that.
And I can tell you that I know that the SROs from the county have started going and attending Tullahoma sporting events and helping out over there with their with their stuff they got going on outside of school. They
I
started,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been going to middle school ball games, and
High
when,
school and, yeah.
Coach Olive, ever since I've been sheriff, we've communicated, and you know, if they had a backlog or whatever, and I've just put it out in the schedule. Deputy sheriffs, Tullahoma's part of Coffee County. It's not just Red Raider football.
Well, I
it's-
think some people don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Is-
there.
Is county law enforcement supposed to be in Tullahoma?
Absolutely.
It's still part of Coffee County.
Just like them state
I
troopers,
start
we're
saying,
in
you
the
see
state of
those
Tennessee.
You see those state
And
troopers
just like the
driving
federal
right
government.
through town.
It,
And between here and Tullahoma, nearly every trip I make, somebody's being stopped.
Yeah.
And twice, most times, I mean, two different locations in less than 10, 12 miles.
Yeah. But I hate that y'all
Going-
get those conversations, but a lot of people just don't understand general civics of government. They don't understand municipality charters or county charters or state charters. They just,
Well, they start to think
They
and
start
start
thinking.
asking questions when
Well-
their constituents start saying,
yeah.
why are we having to pay this and that? And now you wanting to
Yeah,
raise your
Tullahoma,
taxes?
Tullahoma doesn't wanna, they don't wanna go on the percentages. I'll just tell you, they're getting a big bang for their buck right now, so, yeah, it's a very understandable question, and, happy to help answer it anytime, but, anything else,
I have a question if
Yes.
I can.
Go ahead.
I'm just reading the minutes from March, and of course, listening to the radio every day, I know you guys stay busy with cars and stuff, and I saw here where it said you were looking for heavier push bumpers for your vehicles.
yes.
Are we talking like Bearcats with solid steel bumpers?
I'm talking about,
kidding.
yeah. No, we actually, I have, I've bought a couple of ranch hands. And, matter of fact, I was at conference last week and talked to a group out of Mississippi that's gonna come up and probably demo some. Benton, those, those push bumpers that we've got right now used to be steel, and they're now all aluminum. You've seen how that's wadded up.
Well, they fold up quick.
It's hurting us more than it's helping us.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So,
I
the,
guess-
our light assemblies are $1,500 a piece, that from a deer strike or anything, and that's on about any late model vehicle now. So we've started converting over using some ranch hands, or they're solid
Big
steel,
bumpers,
and but there is another company that I met with. It's called Hammerhead out of Mississippi, and they're going to come up and do some demos on our expeditions and some of our trucks.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
With the expeditions going to a heavier bumper, are they gonna hold up?
Oh yeah, yeah, and just going from aluminum to steel, and it's not a real heavy steel. Now the ranch hands can,
Wrap around?
yeah, and they've also got the lower special wrap, and the last 4 Explorers we got that the sergeants are driving, if you notice, they've got that lower wrap, and that's key. But I really looked at this Hammerhead bumper the other day, and we got to talking to those guys, and they've got a new rep, and it actually was developed for the Mississippi Highway Patrol. So they saw what Arkansas was going through, and Mississippi said, build us a specific bumper. So they're spreading out, they're really taking off, and I said, I waved my hand, I said, come to Manchester, Tennessee. I got a full shop, and they wanna upfit one of our expeditions and try it out.
Very good.
So, try and do what we can to, and I had a talk with the guys this morning. I said, look, please, we gotta pick and choose our battles.
Yeah.
And I know the serious stuff we have to do. I mean, the vehicles that we've lost have been on serious cases. I mean, one guy's avoiding 20 years in a state penitentiary, and the judge is like, get him rounded up. And the other one was a indictment for second-degree murder.
Familiar with both of them?
Yeah, it wasn't just an expired tag or a light out or something. And we're really trailing back on that. And if we got an escapee, like we did with the Franklin County guy. And, it's just timing and the way the moons are.
What do you do, a deal like, Nashville? A couple of days ago, that woman was 5 miles an hour and all her tires were gone and still couldn't get her to stop.
Well, you bring the oldest car to the front with the best bumper and you stop it.
I've heard him on the radio several times, give me the oldest car in line.
You know,
That's what I was wondering.
we've got some trucks like my truck that I drive. It's 110,000 miles. It's got a heavy winch bumper on it. I could have stopped her in
I can't believe that thing lasted for
30. Well, and in the same way you watch in L.A. and as many pursuits as they have in California, that's around the Los Angeles area. They wait too long. You got to take them out and take them out quick. And but you got to make that rapid decision. And that vehicle is a tool. And
I can't figure
Yeah,
out, a
why
5
they-
mile an hour, she's not going anywhere.
and most of these cars
What
now
she
are,
thinks she's gonna do.
yeah, most of these cars now are made of plastic. I mean, it ain't like you're taking out a 1977 Ford
Right.
F-250. What's solid steel. So yeah.
You still happy with your expeditions, or you?
Yeah, I mean the guys. I mean that's I know I've seen some things on social media about trucks and the expeditions, and what they don't realize, those things were basically the same price as the Explorer, and those were bought during COVID. I didn't really want an expedition, but I knew I wanted a 2-wheel drive vehicle. We wanted a Tahoe, but the expedition was the same chassis, same wheelbase, and they were readily available, and that's what we were able to get because you couldn't get Explorers.
Right. You still can't get them
well,
weekly.
Yeah, and but things are coming back, but there's not much of a police package out there anymore, and actually the companies are moving more towards the truck line. They have the police truck pursuit line now from Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. Our trucks have been great. You got that truck frame, heavier brakes, bigger wheels, safer, they're higher, and we've had great luck with them.
The reason I ask is I know your lease is coming up. I think next year.
Mm-hmm.
And are you? And I may outside the box, but I'm trying to think long term. Are you looking at keeping in the lease?
No.
Are you wanting to get rid
We're
of it?
going to go
and
back.
Buy your own cars.
That lease is leased by name, but what it was is a low interest loan, and it got us a big shot in the arm, and it got us where we needed to be. But that's the reason I was pushing in this budget, and Mariana's going to work on making, gave her an outlet on funding to pay that big payment, and then next year we're going to be done with that, and we're going to go back to reevaluating. And trying to stretch out because now the markets are getting back to normal, and but man, there's just not this big push for EV stuff and this and that. I don't know what they think rural America's going to do, guys.
The only reason, obviously, you need to get what you want, but being on county roads in the wintertime, you need an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive.
Yeah, well, we park them. We park those vehicles, and we've got some junkers that we'll team them up with somebody in a 4-wheel drive. So we've got 4-wheel drives, but man, the maintenance on a 2-wheel drive. I mean, I just wish we'd go back to a plain Jane Crown Vic or a Caprice, because we made it for years. People run around in 2-wheel drive cars better than whatnot.
You had to know how to drive then.
Yeah, you did. But we just use common sense and just park in and get off the road.
Before we get to Ms. Baker's report, do you have anything new to report on the judicial commissioners?
It needs to be
I
dealt
saw
with, and it needs to be dealt with. I mean, I'm a hot topic right now, but I will say y'all probably need to talk with the 2 city agencies, and all I'm hearing is issues. But
Well, I've heard some new come up recently that
it's
I'm only asking because I'm learning. Who is?
the mayor is over the judicial commissioners.
Does this committee have anything to do with it?
When we hire them, they come through this committee to go to the full commission. But as far as,
I know we hadn't done that since I've been on the commission. So
right,
that's
as
why I
far
was
as, I don't think there's been any openings since you've been on the commission, but,
it needs.
yeah, and I have put in some inquiries to the JCAT judicial, well,
Yeah.
y'all know what it means.
I'm named in
But,
enough lawsuits right now.
I haven't got any answers back yet. Hopefully I will soon, and when I get some answers, I'll send out the emails or the ones on
That's
the
left up to
committee.
y'all, and I'm just watching from afar. I've reported what I reported. I report to you what my staff reports, deputies report. I got a call the other day. We're getting a lot of warrant refusals. Some of your folks got refused a warrant the other day. I don't know why.
Only thing about that.
And we're still getting a lot of the silliness, no bond stuff on DUIs, and I'm like,
On
general
a
session.
DUI?
Yeah, the judges are gonna have to, I mean, that's the judiciary. I'm just trying to mitigate something before it gets bad, but somebody's gonna end up in a lawsuit.
Mm.
And, I don't know, Linda's in court every day. She might be able to tell me, and it's just some weird bonds
Hmm.
and whatnot.
That's what the JCAT training is for, you know that, and they are pretty strict on telling you how to set some certain bonds, which is DUIs and domestic violence
Yeah.
and so forth, so.
We need our magistrates, but we
The-
need good ones.
They answer to the mayor. Do they have any dealings with the judges?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the judges and the DA's office, I mean, they make guidelines on that stuff.
but as far as supervision and oversight, it's coming from the county mayor, not
The
from the general session.
hiring and the firing, or the separation is strictly the mayor. This body could be involved in it. Y'all do the confirmation on it. But as far as their legal work, that's strictly the, our
Judge, yeah.
judges and the DA's office. And I know they've really tried diligently to,
And in the past administration, they had like a supervisor that was like,
we have no supervisor out there.
Bud, Bobby, they were
Yeah.
actually over the judicial commissioners, and now
We don't
now
like
there's
that.
not one.
Yeah, and it needs to get, my
Why don't we
personal
have-
opinion, you need
Well,
a
the previous
supervisor.
mayor wanted the mayor's office to be over the commissioners.
But the mayor, look.
Not,
they're-
not the,
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
current mayor.
I got you, I got you.
The mayor's office has got plenty to deal with out here, and it needs to be something internal out there. I can't.
Mhm. I
We're
agree with
they're a
that.
third and separate party, and a lot of people think they work for the sheriff's office. They don't. They just,
So we need another Bud and another Bobby.
I feel like there needs to be somebody over that department, but
but, I don't wish no ill will on nobody, but I'm tired of getting weekend calls about why is my Johnny in here for DUI first with no bond, and that's not that's not good.
Is
No,
it
that's not
consistent
good.
commissioners or is it across the board?
I'll just let you do your own private research.
Works for me.
I'm kinda scared right
I
now.
don't blame.
I'm
Alright.
Thank you. Anything else?
no, that's all. I
Thanks,
think,
Sheriff.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all,
and-
really
and-
sincerely.
later, we may have in a few months, we may have a special call meeting over the judicial commissioners and invite some of them here. Just a thought.
Questions need answers.
Somebody
Yeah.
from Tullahoma City and Winchester,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, most of them I have never even seen. I wouldn't know if I saw them.
Some questions need answers, and if we're having continuous problems, we need to.
Yeah, I know and I told the person that called me over, I think it was last weekend, that I don't have anything, this committee has no control over what they do besides, we recommend them to the full commission when they put in an application, but I got a complaint on one, and I said, call the mayor's office, so. And I don't know if they did or not, but,
Would it be,
Okay.
would it be beneficial to look in to try to see if, if, they may not be able to at all, but try to get them under this committee's umbrella and have like the meeting?
I kinda feel like they need to be under the judge's umbrella, but, that may be something, a discussion we need to try to figure out and
Policies and procedures.
maybe get with and,
Okay, I'll show
see
them.
what the best idea, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
There needs to be somebody that can keep watch over that office.
Yeah.
And make sure those bonds are being done like they're supposed to.
I agree.
Thank you, Sheriff. Ms. Baker, can you give us the probation report, please?
So this is for March, April, and May of this year. It's a 3-month time frame. Keep in mind, clients and cases are not the same thing. Some clients have multiple cases that they're on probation for. On average, our full average caseload was around 880 active clients. That does not include warrant status. There were 279 new cases. This does not mean new clients. This means new cases over a 3-month time span. We closed out 316 cases. We are following 48 state cases. That means they have state sentences, and when they get finished with whatever they're doing with the state, then they come to us. That's a full caseload. I have to run those FOIL searches. I have to stay in communication with the state because they don't update the FOIL searches. And then you have to chase down the probation officer and stay in communication, and that's a caseload. It's a small caseload, but it's a caseload. We have one person that has been on regular bond conditions. He's a state case that will end up getting state time, but he's coming out of circuit, and he comes in monthly for drug screens. So we provide that service for bond conditions. On our violation, we submitted 153 violation warrants over a 3-month period. Some of these warrants are not what we call bad warrants. There's a such thing as that is a good warrant, and there's a law that will not allow us just to extend someone on probation if they're not finished with their court requirements. We have to actually do a violation. We put an ROR bond on there. That's the only violation that we can fill out the bond, because there's not jail time. It's that they need more time to finish their requirement. If they don't have that time to finish that requirement and we don't do that violation, then we lose authority on them. So some of those 153 violation warrants are not bad warrants. We resolved 139 violation warrants during this time period. Before we wrote those 153 violation warrants, we phoned 255 different messages in an attempt to get them in compliance, and we mailed out 94 pending violation letters asking them, hey, come see us, you're on probation. So we go to great lengths before we actually do a violation of probation. There were 2,937 appointments scheduled with clients. 394 of those appointments were canceled over that 3-month period. They called and canceled and said, we've got work, we've got this, can't make it, and we rescheduled those appointments. There were 301 people that just no-showed, and they get a text message the day before at 12 o'clock. There's a mass message text reminder that goes out to everybody that has an appointment the next day to remind them that they have an appointment for probation. So we've taken a lot of extra precautions before we fill out these warrants for people. We did 185 intakes. Those are our very first time appointments during that 3-month time span. We had 1,714 follow-up appointments, 889 non-scheduled phone appointments. And what that means is the client was calling into us, they need something, and we're documenting what they're calling in for. We've set up a rehab bed, they missed their ride and didn't get there, so they're calling, and then we're calling back. So we had 889 phone contacts that were not scheduled. 249 phone calls with therapists and caseworkers. If you look at the probation court requirements, there were 149 alcohol and drug evaluations completed. 26 clients completed inpatient A&D treatment. 28 completed outpatient. There were 6 that completed a one-time alcohol and drug education class. 12 clients completed domestic violence evaluation, and there were 12 that completed batterers intervention, which is 26 weeks of class. We had 14 people to complete a mental health evaluation. 6 people completed mental health counseling. You will not find a mental health provider that likes to tell you that that person has completed mental health counseling, because that is a lifelong thing. It's ongoing. It ebbs and flows. You'll go into treatment, you'll be stable, you'll come out of treatment, then you'll go back in. So we just get a letter from them that they're a level of stability at this time. We had 4 people that submitted their public service work. We had 11 clients to complete theft class. We don't teach theft class every month, it's every other month. And we teach that class every other month on a Friday. There were 274 people that submitted proof of a job, school, or disability. Our entire office is trained, with the exception of the administrative assistant, is trained in doing ASIs and ASAMs, and those are alcohol and drug evaluations. Instead of us having to farm those out to other people, we are certified to be able to do that. But being able to balance that with court, their caseloads, we don't do that on a regular basis, but there were 2 that were completed during that time. You can see the demographics on the last page, and again, that's for a 3-month time frame. That kind of tells you our client population that we have on probation. During this 3-month period, our administrative assistant was out on medical leave for 6 weeks. We didn't have anybody entering cases at the front desk. We didn't have anybody answering the front desk door. It was all left up to probation. We have a bail that we put out there. My team went a really above and beyond during this time frame. It was very hectic, very stressful, trying to balance everything. April was one of our highest months for drug screens, and I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it was one of our highest numbers. We've been tracking that for the past year. I'm actually getting ready to release a report that tells you how many drug screens we've did, how many are positive, how many were sent to the lab. I'm getting ready to do a full year report. We had 2 people during this time to pass away during this time frame, and those were drug-related overdoses that they had passed away from. My team is very thankful for the raises that they got. Very, very thankful for that. I had someone to turn in their notice today,
Oh,
so even though
Even after the raise.
even after the raise, I had someone
It
to turn in the
happens.
notice today, and it happens. So, that position will be posted, for the amount of time, and we will take applications and resumes and go from there. We'll pull through it.
What kind of position is this one?
It's a probation position,
So they need a degree?
4-year college degree.
How many people do you have in your office?
There's 8 of us.
And you carry a caseload too?
I carry a caseload as well. If I don't carry a caseload, then their caseloads are higher. And we all rotate court. So,
yeah, Miss Baker, I'm sure you
Yeah,
know her, but she
absolutely.
does an excellent job.
Yeah,
And I thank you
absolutely.
for your detailed report. She
I
always
wished I
gives us a
could-
good report.
I wish you could have 10 more in the office.
yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Any questions?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tentatively, since we have these meetings quarterly, October 9th at 4:30, tentatively, but that'll be in 3 months, the second Thursday, I think in October. I'm gonna check with Dennis and see see if there's anything we can do about this other situation, or if we can have some kind of maybe special meeting, and who needs to be there with the judicial commissioners, because it's becoming a ongoing problem.
Definitely need to get a judge in here anyway.
Yeah, I think we may need to check with some of the, like Laura said, maybe the police chiefs and judges and the mayor, and see what we can come up with.
Yep.
So anything else?
I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Dwight? Second.
I'll second, I'm sorry. I'm still doing my
Everybody in favor
calendar.
say aye,
Aye.
and I'll send you a reminder, of course, when it gets a little closer.
And I'll probably send someone, because I'll be out of town that week.
Okay.
So I'll try to send Jared.
Okay.
Thank you.